want to get a chance to do, and I talked a little bit about it at the beginning of the study, and it's very simply, here we are. It's our 250th anniversary. We're just, basically a couple of weeks away, a little bit more than a week. And it's 250 years since we become a country. And at the same time, we have the World Cup, and we're entertaining people from all over the world that are coming here and they're experiencing the U.S. for the first time. And as I had mentioned at the beginning, there was, you're seeing a bunch of these stories about people that are saying, I owe you people an apology. I only believed the things that I was told to believe, but now I'm seeing it with my own eyes and I'm mind blown by what I'm seeing. You can find these reels all over social media, these people that are recording this and said, I had no idea. And then they also start to have this, they're going to our restaurants, they're going to our markets, they're going to just see how things are, and everywhere that they go, they're just mind blown at what they see. The arenas where the games are being played, the amenities, there's nothing that they go to that they're not blown away by, which is a pretty amazing thing, because it just helps us to understand we take them for granted. So the level of day-to-day life here is superior to other places in the world, just for the common person. Now, people might want to disagree with that and they fight about it and everything else. I don't care. You guys can get, if you're watching this and you're angry about this, fine. Be angry, whatever. I'm going by the people who are here who have never seen it before and had in their own minds what it was going to be like versus what they experienced, and they just can't believe what it's like. I watched one of a guy who was just saying, I'm going to show you a car wash, and he's British. He went to what we would just think of those kind that we find them on just about every street corner, depending on where you live, and that it was like you drive through, you vacuum things out, and then you go through and your car wash. He goes, we don't have anything like this. Or the guy I'm watching at a restaurant, and the guy just comes and puts a tea next to him. He's just about finished drinking his tea, and the server off camera puts another one right in front of him, and the guy that's recording it is he's catching his face, and basically the guy's like, I don't want to pay for another one of these, I'll just deal with what I got. And the guy said, no, it's free refill. And he's incredulous. He can't believe free refill. What is that? They don't have that in their country. It's just not like that. So the things that we take for granted day by day are things that the other people have just no concept of. The things that we see all day, every day, and we accept it's just what we get. People can only dream that they would have that. So again, I would just say, go and check it for yourself. You'll be mind blown by it. So anyway, it brings us back to our country. And there was something I put up on, as far as social media is concerned that I'm directly involved with, I have a Facebook account, and I put up something there that goes back to our founding, when at the Declaration of Independence and ultimately at the Constitution. And they asked Benjamin Franklin, a woman asked Benjamin Franklin, what have you given us? And have you given us a monarchy or a republic? And Benjamin Franklin said, a republic if you can keep it, which is an amazing thing, because most people you hear talking about our democracy. And if you talk with a person who thinks that we live in a democracy, the person that's saying it doesn't understand what our form of government is. Now, is it democratically elected? Sure, but it's not majority rules. So we're a republic. That's why the people in the crazy parts of the country do not and cannot, by fiat, just make the rest of the country do what they say. They have to get the numbers. So it's why I watch with just sadness what's taking place, especially up in the Northeast. More importantly, what's taking place in New York just this week. So go and read the things that the people have said who are going to win the congressional seats. The turnout was incredibly low, but these people have a fanatical following, and the Muslim populations are very, very big. Go look at it for yourself. Don't think that I'm somehow making an accusation against them. Go and look for yourself what things they advocate for and what is their worldview, what is their, quote, religious belief. So these are people who are advocating for not just government doing more and more. These are people who are completely avowed Marxists. So not just that the government should do more for people that are needy, they believe that our form of government needs to be completely removed and reshaped, made like that of communist mindset, Karl Marx kind of stuff. So nobody has their own things. It all belongs to the government, and the government gives it back out to the people. So the idea of us being a republic is that we democratically elect our representatives, and they go to the Congress, they go to wherever it is that we're sending them, whether it's in our states or whether it's in the federal sense, even up all the way to the president, and our vote has bearing on that. So we send our representatives. That's a republic. That's not a direct democracy. So if you go and read what the difference between those things are, you have a better understanding for us. And we're very different from just about every other place on the planet that way in the form of our government. That's what was given to us in the beginning. We have people that are incrementally wanting to tear that down. And the problem is the complacency of people has gotten it to the point where you'll have insane people running for office, but nobody's going to stand against them. And so the only people that are participating are the ones that are big supporters of people who are wanting to completely destroy everything that makes this country what it is. So I just want to make sure that we genuinely understand this, because people ought to pay attention. Now, again, if you're one of those Christians that say, well, I don't care about any of that stuff, I don't pay attention to any politics, blah, 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 there's no difference in it. Again, I have that Tallarico video going up tomorrow, and I can tell you this for sure. James Tallarico in my country, or my state of Texas, he would win going away in California. He's perfect for California. He's exactly like those people. And he would win in Massachusetts, he would win in Connecticut, he would win in Maine, he would win in New York, he would win in Illinois, he'd win in all of the blue states. And it wouldn't even be close. But he's running here in Texas, trying to make people believe he's something else when he is a far left of center person. And so don't tell me that it's the same in Texas as it is in California. I've lived in both states. So for the Christian that would say there's not a dime's bit of difference, you are mistaken. And if you think that what's going on in California can't happen everywhere else, just take a look at who's running for Senate in our country, or I'm sorry, in our state now in Texas. Or if it was before him, it was Beto O'Rourke, or before him, it was Allred running against Ted Cruz. These are people who will win in blue states, but they're not winning in a red state like this. My life day to day, my taxes, the amount of power that the government has over me is different in Texas than it was in California. We were free to operate under COVID, during COVID, versus what it was like in California at that time, and it's not even close. So for those people that say there's no difference between it, fine. You can believe that all you want to, but the real world tells you you're wrong. And I think it's very important for us to understand and pay attention to what those people are saying, because again, there are some insane people who would absolutely destroy what we have as a government to its core and remake it in a Marxist way. 3 of them won in New York. Go look at what they advocate for, and all 3 of them will be in the new House of Representatives. So again, it used to be just that we had these nutty people like Omar and AOC and people like that. These people look at them as a problem. They're not sold out to the cause enough. And this is all what was going to be happening. If you remember, AOC and the ones like her said, we're going to primary the old guard of the Democrat Party. These people are not just a little bit left, a little bit more to the left of the Democratic Party. Read for what they're saying. The Democratic Socialists want nothing to do with the Democrat Party. They're just the vehicle. So what they're advocating for would make us like some of the places on the planet that people are coming here from and saying, if only our country was like this. There are people who want to do to us what's been done to those other places. And here it is, the 250th anniversary of our country. So I will end with this and just say, as far as that goes and as far as all of that, my hope is not in this world. So it's not like we've got to do something about this, and I'm not giving the call for Christian nationalism and all the other nutty things that people are into. But I am saying this. I don't know how long the Lord has us here. So somebody's going to govern, and I'm going to have to live under that governance. I can only hope I don't have to live under the kind of decisions that would be made by these crazy people up in the Northeast. Go and read them. Go read the things that they said. Listen to their acceptance speeches of winning their primaries. Look at what they've said. Look at what they've advocated for. It's the complete dismantling of the prison system, of borders, not even deporting criminal aliens who have murdered and raped. They shouldn't be sent back home. I mean, some really off-the-wall crazy stuff. And that's their view of the world. That's what the United States should be. So again, if the people in New York are dumb enough to vote for people like that, it's bad for them. They're going to have to deal with it. Fortunately, one congressman can't change the course of things, but 100 congressmen, men and women, with that same worldview can absolutely change policy. So I think people need to wake up and pay attention to it as there's time to do so. If you have questions on any of this, it's an interesting thing. Again, I think eventually, even something like the United States and the way that our country was founded, the way that we look at it versus now looks very, very much different. What they're wanting to do is make it light years different. And it was always going to have to fail eventually, given enough time. Nothing lasts forever. You will always have subversives that ultimately take over. But it's what happens between now and when we see the Lord. What's the society, what's the world going to look like? What's our country going to look like? And how will those in power over us govern? That's a big, big question. And if we have a seat at the table, if we can make any kind of a difference, we ought to. And for those people that say that we don't make any difference in it, it's already predetermined, then you've got to explain why some states elect goofy people and other ones elect people that are just more like themselves. So I just never bought into that whole thing. If we've got a voice and a vote, we ought to use both. And so that's why I'm bringing this to you today. As much as I'm enjoying watching the reels of people being blown away by what we take for granted, at the same time, I have to realize that there are a lot of people who are letting it slip away, and it should be said. So